like a scientist.
Hi guys, welcome back. You made it to the 5th step. Awesome job. Okay, here's what I wanted to show you next. So far, before you watch this video, you should have already submitted to your media album a picture that you drew of what a scientist looks like in your mind. And then you should have completed a discussion board where you looked at everyone else's pictures and you answered questions about what you observed about their pictures and what they had in common. So now here I am to ask you, did you picture yourself? You all are scientists too. Let's look over what 3rd graders are expected to do as scientists. Science notebook expectations. Later, we're going to add this to Notability, okay? So I don't want you to worry about the last part here, science safety contract. We're gonna wait until we talk about our labs and all that stuff to worry about that. So we're just gonna ignore that. But let's read the science notebook expectations real quick. Your science notebook is going to be housed in Keynote, and you're gonna see that later, but you can also use Notability. So we'll kind of be going back and forth. I will think about what I already know and ask questions. 2, I will make predictions. 3, I will use my 5 senses to investigate problems. Number 4, I will record my observations with pictures, words, and realistic details. Number 5, I will support my claims with evidence. We're going to talk about that a lot in 3rd grade. So if you don't know what that means, that's okay, but we're going to find out. Number 6, I will be ready to explain my thinking. 7, I will ask new questions. 8, I will be neat and do my best work. And then number 9, 1 page at a time. And if you are using a paper ever and you have to use glue, it says ... not a lot, but I'm going to cross that out because we're in the digital world right now. Okay, now I'm going to show you about some different types of scientists. We're going to check out some of the science careers you could have one day.
Hello, my name is Eric. Do you like to play video games? Well, I do. If I was allowed, I would play video games all day long. Did you know that a lot of people work together to create just one game? I want to be a video game designer. They help figure out what the game will look like, what the challenges will be, and what the goal of the game will be. They also come up with the rules of the game. I cannot wait to start making my own games. I just know millions of people will want to play them.
Wow, did you all know that video game designers are a type of scientist? How cool is that? Okay, let's see some other examples. Did you think of a video game designer? Did you draw that when you drew your picture of a scientist? I sure did it. Okay, let's see the next one.
Oh, hello. My name is Jordan, and yes, I was just about to introduce you too. Sorry about that. This is Red. She's a Scarlet Macaw. Red is so smart, I taught her to wave and say hi. I love working with animals. I want to be an animal trainer when I grow up. Animal trainers have important jobs. Some animal trainers work in zoos and aquariums. They might educate visitors about the animals. Some animal trainers teach animals to help disabled people. When I grow up, I want to train dogs to open doors and to lead their owner safely around. I better get back to training Red. Oops, I think I need to teach Red to say goodbye.
So cool. Did you think of that when you were drawing your scientists? Let's look at another kind of scientist.
Hi, I'm Kayla, and every spring I help my grandma plan our flower garden, just like the landscape architects. Landscape architects make...
Oh, I skipped it. Hold on, we're gonna try and make it bigger. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Kayla, and every spring I help my grandma plan our flower garden, just like the landscape architect. Landscape architects make plans and decide what plants go in a garden for a museum or park. They might also help businesses plan what the landscape around their building will look like too. To make the gardens look nice, a landscape architect needs to know a lot about plants. Plants have different needs. Some require a lot of sun, some require a lot of water. They also need to know how big plants will grow. Our garden gets a lot of shade, so we need to pick flowers that don't need a lot of sun.
Kayla?
Oops, my grandma is calling me. I better get back to planning our garden.
What a cool science career. I would have never thought of that. Did you? Okay, and the last one.
Wow, do you see that shower of sparks? That means a welder is hard at work fixing or creating something. I'm Hannah, and I want to be a welder when I grow up, just like my dad. One of the tools a welder uses is a blowtorch. A blowtorch produces a very hot flame that can be used to mold and cut metal. The sparks you see are actually pieces of molten metal that spit off during cutting and welding. My dad works to build and repair ships. Without people like my dad, things like skyscrapers, cars, and rockets would not exist.
Okay, let's look at some other really cool names of scientists and types of science careers you might want to have one day. I do want to say that they have some really big words, but in third grade, we're not going to shy away from big words. We're going to learn new vocabulary every single day. Everyone say this with me: agronomist. An agronomist studies soil and crops. Astronomer, they study the stars, planets, and galaxies. A botanist studies plants. A cytologist studies cells. A geneticist studies how traits are inherited. So if you have no idea what that means, it basically just means they study how we look like our parents and our parents look like their parents, and so on. A geologist studies the history of the earth. A marine biologist studies ocean plants and animals. Look at this meteorologist. He is studying weather and climate, which we're talking about later this week. Microbiologists look at microscopic animals and plants. Paleontologists study fossils. Physicists study matter and energy and how they're related. Seismologists study earthquakes. A zoologist studies animal behavior. Great scientists. Okay, we're going to look at some great scientists. What do you notice about each scientist in the picture? What are they wearing and what are they doing? Okay. All right, look at this scientist. His name is George Washington Carver. He was a great scientist whose work with plants improved farmers' crops. Okay, let's see. Does he look anything like this next scientist? Let's see. Here's our scientist. Which one do you think is the scientist? Would it surprise you to know that this is the scientist? Not this guy. Yeah, this is Marie Curie. She was a great scientist whose work with radioactivity won her the Nobel Prize in 1903. Albert Einstein was a great scientist whose work with light, matter, and energy won him the Nobel Prize in 1921. Now, he has some pretty crazy hair, but does his hair look like the other scientists we've seen so far? Rosalind Franklin was a great scientist who worked with DNA. DNA is something inside of us that gives us our traits, like blue eyes and brown hair. Louis Pasteur was a great scientist who studied the causes and prevention of disease. Jane Goodall is a great scientist who has spent most of her life studying chimpanzees. What do you notice about each scientist in the picture? What are they wearing and what are they doing? So I want you to think about that. Has your mind changed about what scientists might look like? Did you even know you could be a scientist? All right, I think you're ready for the next steps in our Schoology course. Go draw a new picture of a scientist. because I'm sure what the picture started out as might be a little different since I've taught you about these different scientists. Okay, so now you've watched that, you're going to reflect, how has your opinion as a scientist changed? Can you be a scientist? What do you imagine science will be like this year? So there's 3 questions, so you're gonna have 3 answers in your discussion, okay? So please make sure that that doesn't just say, I changed my mind, science is different. Okay, that doesn't answer the question. You want to mark each question and number it and answer it. Okay, once you've reflected there, you're going to do the very last part. You're going to redraw a scientist now that your thinking has changed and submit it right here. And then you're done with science. Yay! See you on Tuesday.